Eagle is a game where the actual review of it as a game is pretty simple. It's a short 5 to 6 hour puzzle platformer with minimal dialogue and cutscenes. It's got a few combat sections where the combat is simply slashing an enemy when it gets close. The controls feel a bit wonky and the camera might as well have been static since its dynamic controls feel awkward. It has a simple premise whereby a formerly imprisoned boy meets an imprisoned girl and together they try and escape the castle which confines them. It's essentially a long escort mission. It's a game designed through reduction. It has a few enemies, and there are only a few moments of cutscenes of dialogue. Most of the sound, outside of the combat sequences, is the howling wind and miscellaneous noises of the objects you interact with. Even the gameplay puzzle mechanics are simple, meaning the game doesn't have a real learning curve or difficulty curve. This provides a relatively smooth and continuous experience over its rather short 5 to 6 hour play length. It's a good enough game, but as a creative package, it provides one of my favorite experiences in creative media. The relationship the player has with the game is almost unparalleled in its totality. The sparseness of the game allows the player to properly immerse themselves in the journey. Its metaphysical art inspirations are evidenced by the non-American cover art, using Giorgio de Chirico's The Nostalgia of the Infinite, but even the game world design holds this philosophy. The castle is a weird mixture of architecture, with curious buildings and strange modernities that seem all out of place. It is a castle islanded by infinite water, with the only passage to it being a bridge that leads into an expansive, infinite forest. There is this melancholic loneliness to the game, effectively countered by the dynamic of having two characters throughout. Yorda, the imprisoned girl, is the core of the game. She can open doors, she's your lose condition if you fail to protect her, and most puzzles you solve are to help her advance with you. Though she is relatively static, only rarely offering hints, the player's sense of agency feeds into the feeling of leading the rescue. You call, guide, and help Yorda with the R1 button. This means that in moments when you're puzzling away by yourself, away from Yorda, it feels discomforting to not be pressing the R1 button, especially since you know you're putting her in danger. But it's not only the gradual immersion of the game that is so powerful. The ending sequences, which I won't discuss, hit such Olympic heights that over 20 years later their after effects can still be felt. It's in these moments in the final stretch of the game where every puzzle piece falls into place. The journey, the destination, the context, the price of failure. It all comes together to form a climax so powerful that it eclipses the sum of its parts and moves from being one of my favorite games ever to one of my favorite things ever. As a game, as a work of art, as an experience, I love it.